Remember when I said, I guess I need to read a book? These are all the books I've started to read, but haven't finished. I'm not good at reading books, or at least finishing them, but I still read. I wish there was an easy way I could just listen to books instead. If only there was a company out there that offered this kind of service. I guess we'll never know. So, books. That seems to be a popular thing with finance and self-improvement channels. Most of the ones I watch have made at least one video about a book or many books that have changed their lives. I think books are very valuable, and they're good for your brain. I wish I read more books, or at least finished the ones I've started, because maybe if I finished more books, I'd be a different person, a happier person. But here we are. I'm good at reading when it's assigned to me. I guess that's why people join book clubs. But I don't want to join a club. Although I haven't finished these books, I did finish this book twice. A Job to Love. I bought it about 5 years ago when I was feeling unfulfilled in my job. That was 2 jobs ago. I still haven't found my calling, guys. That's part of why I'm doing this. A job that feeds your soul is important, in my opinion, and apparently in these people's opinion too.
I don't know who wrote this book, but
at a regular full-time job, you spend at least 8 hours of your day at your job. That's a third of your day. And if you have a healthy sleep schedule, you spend another 8 hours sleeping. So that leaves a remainder of 8 hours a day of time that you're free to use at your disposal, however you'd like. If you manage your time well with this even 3-way split of work, sleep, and free time, I think you've optimized your life. But I don't think most people do this. I certainly don't. I'd say most hardworking people's days are split up more like this. Damn. Also, unlike the 8-hour blocks of time you get for working and sleeping, your personal 8 hours are broken up throughout the day. You might get an hour or 2 in the morning before work, an hour for lunch, and then a few hours after work for eating dinner and getting drunk. And then you pass out, sleep for 8 hours, and do it all again. You can take hours out of your sleep, but your work hours aren't as flexible. You usually need to accrue that time off, which means you have to work more before you can work less. At least that's the policy at most companies these days. So since you spend most of your waking life doing your job, it better be one you care about. If you don't care about the work you're doing or the company you work for, your job sucks. Get out. Anyway, I thought that a book called A Job to Love would help me figure out where I'm supposed to be in my professional life, at least up to this point. I mean, according to the first page, that's basically what this book aims to do. This book is from the School of Life, and it lays out a few exercises you can do to help you figure out what kind of job you would love doing. An example is, remember 3 things you enjoyed doing as a child, and try to remember as many details about those things as possible, like where you were, who you were with, and what you were feeling. Then list reasons why you liked doing those things. What specifically about that activity was so enjoyable to you, and why? Be as specific as you can, because the more details you can remember, the better it'll help you decipher what you're naturally inclined to like. And then you boil down your answers into descriptions about yourself. For me, I remember having fun playing outside. When I was 4 or 5, I lived close to a little forest and a park. I liked exploring the natural land around me and observing all the bugs and the animals. I didn't want to disturb the land or anything in it. I had fun just being a passive observer and discovering the natural beauty that was around me. I'm someone who likes to observe. That sounds creepy as fuck. Maybe I should have been an astronomer. A lot of their job is just looking at shit in the sky and taking notes. But they also have to do a lot of math. And advanced math makes me anxious. But for my next job, maybe it should involve more observation. I'm not sure how, but maybe it should. In A Job to Love, it also points out that many people may be well suited to do multiple kinds of work. But alas, our society and economy are structured in a way that expects most people to specialize in just a single type of work for most of their lives. And most of us will die before we can explore other types of work. I mean, could you go from being a librarian to an astronomer to a carpenter to a beekeeper to a doctor? No, that would be a very interesting career path, but extremely unlikely. That's not how the world works. People just don't live long enough to make drastic career changes like that. Our natural human lifespan is limited to like 100 years at most. I know there are people that live longer than 100, but if you're alive over 100 years old, do you even know where you are or who you are? So we have to make the most of the time we have now before our organs break down into mush. I'll read a couple of quotes from the book. We are so much more than the world of work ever allows us to be. The modern job market gives us no option but to specialize. I know that's kind of sad, but I understand why the world is the way that it is. However fucked, I understand why. Sure, it can be frustrating that we have to spend most of our lives specializing doing just one thing, and we rarely have time to explore other types of careers if we want to, but I understand why. It's division of labor, according to Adam Smith, who wrote The Wealth of Nations. It's a book that was published in 1776, and I haven't read it. The School of Life did, apparently, though, because that's how I know about it, from reading this. For us as a collective society to be able to provide quality goods and services to our people, our economy has to be made up of specialists in order to maximize productivity. For the greater good, that's how the world works. Unless you can leave society and build a cabin in a remote part of the world, this is what you have to deal with. Save up and then go build a cabin in the woods.
Okay, so we're all here because of this book, right?
I'll be honest, I've read this book twice, and I'm still not sure what kind of career would suit me best. I guess there's a multitude of careers that I could be good at, potentially, but I'm still kind of unsure which one I should explore next. Maybe it's user error. I am indecisive. I don't think it's the book's fault, though, because it does have some good philosophical food for thought. I don't regret reading it. I'm sure it's helped a lot of other people, and it will help more people in the future. So give it a read if you want to. This is not a collab or a sponsorship or anything. This is just my opinion, and I approve. But just so you understand, it's not going to just tell you how to get the job you want. You know, it's just like a regular ass book. Ow. But it will help put you into the mindset of thinking about what you might enjoy doing for work, based on what made you happy in a time in your life before you had to start thinking about work. Keep in mind, though, that we may not ever be totally fulfilled. Keep in mind, though, that we may not ever be totally fulfilled with what we're doing. A large part of it has to do with how our economy is structured and the current state of our society. Unlike our primitive ancestors, we're no longer required to rely solely on ourselves and our small communities to get the things we need to survive. We can order them on Amazon or shop at other businesses that operate based on specialized labor from its workers. Those workers may not be able to enjoy a multitude of careers in their lives, but they can at least enjoy the convenience that comes from a productive free market economy. This is often the trade-off we experience in our professional lives. To quote the book again, we can allow ourselves to mourn that there will always be large aspects of our character that won't be satisfied. I don't know why I'm opening the book. I'm not even reading the page. I wrote this quote down on my computer, so I'm just going to read it from there because I don't remember the page number that this was on in the book, so meh. We're registering the clash between the demands of the employment market and the wide-ranging potential of every human life. This lack of fulfillment will accompany us whatever we do. It can't be cured by switching jobs. It is an existential sorrow occasioned by the period of history we happen to live in.
That is the most depressing thing I've ever heard.
But that is life. If you're successful in finding a job that satisfies most of your interests, then maybe you'll be spared from this existential sorrow. It's like what they always say, do what you love and you'll never have to work a day in your life. That's the level I want to be at, but I am far from it. So far, I think I'm close to figuring that out. Maybe. I'm at least exploring other career options, or at least other jobs that I'd like to do. Anyway, maybe I'll try to read more books, or at least finish the ones I've started. Plus, if I want to switch careers, then inevitably there are going to be books that I'm going to have to read. I can deal with that. Like I said, if a book is assigned to me, then I'm more likely to finish it. I'm half Chinese. Homework is like pie. It's easy. All right, see you next week. That's all I got. Bye.